Well, Arsenal have emerged triumphant in its last game at the Emirates today. They've gone ahead to beat Newcastle by 1 goal to nil. If you watch my match preview, I called in for a 2-1 win for the club of Arsenal. I never thought that Arsenal could keep a clean sheet because Newcastle really has a very threatening attack force. Even though you saw to it that Isak was away, Carl Wilson came in and obviously went ahead to really fill the boots because he really got like 2 chances. I saw Gordon, Jason, I saw Willock and very many others who were really almost on target. The likes of Barnes, he was also one of those that went ahead to obviously see David Raya make a very big save in there. Smash the like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Rokani David is my name and hope you guys are really having fun wherever you are. Let's obviously get the charge and see to it that all goes on well as to planned. And Arsenal is now confirmed that they're into the Champions League next season. Even if they lose the last game they're going to play against Southampton, Arsenal will be playing into what we call the Champions League of next season, 2025-2026. So let's get straight into this game. And one thing I noted is, the first thing I noted was this game was a game of 2 halves. If at all you really watch this game very well, you can all agree with me that this game has been a game of 2 halves. If you watched it, first half, it was all about Newcastle. They had the most chances and the most shots on target. And I tell you what, if it was not for David Raya doing 2 double saves and 1-2 saves in there for you, it would have gone ahead to end like 2-0 in favor of us, in favor of Newcastle. You remember that first shot that Bruno Guimaraes went ahead to obviously shoot. It was like a penalty. He saved it. Then, as I think was it Callum Wilson was obviously trying to obviously make that ball to nod it in the back of the net. From nowhere, David Raya went ahead to deny him by using his right hand to obviously get that ball out of his position. You understand? That was the first double save. The second double save was all about a corner. I saw Harvey Barnes obviously obstructing the goalkeeper, and from nowhere he made a run from the goal line to meet the ball, and he brushed that ball, and David Raya went ahead to save it very well. But when he saved it, it landed onto the player of Newcastle, and it hit, and he hit that ball hard. And guess what? He used to obviously clear that ball off the line. He used his leg. That is David Raya. That's another second save in there. Then a second double save. The other one was all about Harvey Barnes. Harvey Barnes came up and went ahead to make a diagonal run, from the right half space into the central axis near the D of the Tinners box area of Arsenal, and he went in for a lower shot or a ground shot, deflected off Thomas Partey, and we all thought that that deflection wouldn't obviously find David Raya recovering from the already dive that he had gone ahead to make. So he made almost a second dive in one movement, and he really saved that ball, and it went to the corner. So in the first half, he kept the team of Arsenal in the game, and that is none other than David Raya. That's why for this clean sheet, I think it's the most important of him all, because it confirms Arsenal's position to play in the Champions League. Secondly, it takes him to levels with still the goalkeeper of Nottingham, because he also has gone ahead to keep 13 clean sheets. You understand? So after keeping 13 clean sheets, David Raya has also gone ahead to obviously keep another clean sheet to make it 13, and they are now draw on clean sheets. That's exactly what you're really having in here onto the Rokani Media Football. So Arsenal and Newcastle, obviously Arsenal has gone ahead to revenge to Newcastle, because this season Newcastle had gone ahead to beat Arsenal twice. Firstly in the league, 1-0 away from home. Arsenal were playing at the St. James's Park. Then secondly at home at Emirates, when Arsenal was beaten, I think 2-0 in the Carabao Cup semi-final, and even when they went to St. James's Park, they were annihilated by Newcastle. So it shows you that Arsenal has taken a revenge, and Newcastle will feel this because however much they've gonna hit to win the Carabao Cup, but they need the Champions League more. So we're waiting to see what Newcastle is obviously going to be doing. But David Raya was really, very, very magnificent on the night, and that's what makes him one of the match contenders into this encounter. Then the other factor we are going to talk about is Martin Odegaard, getting Declan Rice on target, and he really did that assist very well. And I understand that Martin Odegaard has not gone ahead obviously have the best of the season, but all I know is that this game has been very important into the season decider of Arsenal, because when you finish second, there is some amount of money that you get, you understand? And with Arsenal losing the trophy to Liverpool, I don't think that the best news for them would be to qualify for the Champions League and finish third. I think the best news for them is to really finish second and qualify for the Champions League, because maintaining that second position, second slot, would have gone ahead to be maintained in the third season consecutively. Firstly under Teta, 2022-2023 finished second, 2023-2024 they finished second, and 2024-2025 they've gone ahead to finish second. So for Martin Odegaard, it has been his 8th assist of the Premier League season as a player, and in the Champions League, he has 1 assist. Take that from the EFL Cup, he has 2 assists, meaning that this season he has gone ahead to obviously make 11 assists. And by the way, this is, I think, one of the seasons where he has gone ahead not to score very many goals ever since he came in through at Arsenal and he was signed permanently. Leave alone the season he played of 2020 to 2021, and he played for only 6 months. But this time around, I'm talking about 2021, 2022, he really scored 7 in that season. Following season 15, last season scored 8, and now he's nowhere to be seen in scoring those goals that he really scored in the previous 2 seasons. So I think he should really check himself out well there. So we go to Declan Rice, man who has been injured, and he really passed what we call a late fitness test, and he made it in here. And when he made it, obviously a lot of things went ahead to happen, and it required none other than him to obviously pull the trigger from outside the 10-yard box area, and Declan Rice went ahead to obviously score that goal for the club of Arsenal, and that was in the 55th minute in there for the club of Arsenal. And Declan Rice really did it, and Arsenal really took the lead, and that took him to 4 goals in the Premier League and 7 assists in there for you. So Declan Rice played his last game at the Emirates this season, and he's gonna be playing the last game at St. Mary's Stadium. That is Declan Rice for you. Now, this clean sheet came in through, and why it needs to obviously get all the praise that it deserves. The reason is simple. The club of Arsenal came in through with a lot of problems, because at the beginning of the second half, the manager took off Saliba. Whether he was injured or not, I can't tell, but the manager took him off, and guess what he did? He took him off and brought in Carafiori, meaning that Ricardo Carafiori and Jakub Kivio were to be played as central defenders. You understand? All left-footed, but we've gone ahead to see the manager of Arsenal try that with Gabriel Magalhaes and Jakub Kivio, and in such circumstances, Jakub Kivio has always gone ahead to be played as a right-sided centre-back, and then the other left-footed player in his prominent position. This time round, I saw them share the role, and you couldn't say who was the right-sided centre-back or left-sided centre-back, but whoever really found himself in that position could obviously do something well, and those two helped Arsenal keep a clean sheet, because they came in through when Arsenal was 0-0 with Newcastle, and they kept a clean sheet, and when Arsenal scored, they protected the clean sheet, and it resulted into Arsenal really adding more points to the already ones they've been having in one of the baddest seasons they've had ever since the season of 2022-2023. But kudos to Carafiori and Jakub Kiwior. And this is where I tell people that you've been doubting Kiwior. He has shown you what he can do when Gabriel Magalhaes was away. And there is no way you can obviously come up and really blame him for things that he didn't do this season, for things that went wrong for the club of Arsenal, because Jakub Kiwior came up and really gave Arsenal a life into all of that. So, Arsenal, so Kai Havertz come in, and played some minutes in there for you, and Saka was taken off, and the guy was really brought on, and I really loved his energy. And the manager had really thrown a hint that he'll return before the season comes to an end. So I think the game of Southampton is where you're going to see Arsenal really go ahead and really score for fun, because their ideal front three is going to be available. Kai Havertz leading the line, Saka right forward, and Martinelli or Trossard left forward. So let's get into the stats of the game and see how this game of football really went down at the Emirates. 12 shots by Arsenal, Newcastle had 14. 4 shots on target by Arsenal, Newcastle had 5. Then 52% ball possession by Arsenal, Newcastle had 48% ball possession. 410 passes completed by Arsenal, Newcastle completed 366. 82% Arsenal, 82% Newcastle. 9 fouls by Arsenal, 9 fouls committed by Newcastle. 3 yellow cards to each sides. No red cards issued to either sides. 0 offsides for either sides. 10 corners for the club of Arsenal. And 7 corners for the side of Newcastle. That is it. So, how does the Premier League table really look with just one game, I think, to go? The Premier League table looks like that. Liverpool, 83 points. Arsenal, 37 points. 37 games with 71 points. Newcastle, 37 games played. They're really having 66 points. Chelsea, 37 games played. They're having 66 points. Aston Villa is having 37 points. They're having 37 games with 66 points. Man City, 36 games with 65 points in there for you. So that means Man City really has a game in hand. And if they win that game in hand, City will find themselves third at 68 points. And by the way, when you look at the fixtures of Man City, obviously, you can really understand that them losing to the side of Nottingham via the weekend, the FA Cup, will really cost them a lot as they vie for the Champions League position. But I think the remaining 2 games are really winnable, especially one against Bournemouth at home on Monday, which is really going to be a little bit hard, and playing out Fulham. They can lose both of those games if at all they don't really take care. But when you look at the Champions League positions, they are still open, from Nottingham, Man City, Villa, Chelsea, and Newcastle. So these 5 teams can all qualify, So we are waiting to see how they really go upon this, but it's really gonna be a very huge encounter. So guys, thank you very much for watching through. My man of the match, I'm going to give it to David Raya. That is it. I don't really want to come out and really not give the guy his flowers, because he kept Arsenal in the game, for the entire 45 minutes. Newcastle was running at Arsenal, especially for those first 45 minutes, right? So they went ahead and obviously put in a very good performance, especially David Raya. So for me, David Raya is my man of the match. I don't know who your man of the match is going to be, but David Raya, for me, deserves a 10 out of 10 because he got everything right. His game reading, sweeper goalkeeping role, and the shot stopping role, and commanding that defense where need be. We out. Bye-bye.